was discussing the conception right of an unmarried person. So there's a unmarried lady, aged 35 years, and she wants to conceive. And she approaches the center with her boyfriend, and she wants to conceive with her boyfriend's semen. So how can she can conceive with this, or how can she conceive? Ma'am, over to you.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Seema. Yes, she is most welcome, and she can conceive at the age of 35 as far as the law goes, and she can also conceive with her boyfriend, provided the boyfriend is screened and registered at the at a registered ART bank. And as far as the age is concerned, as far as the law is concerned, for the benefit of everyone, anyone above 21 years and less than 50 years can try for pregnancy by ART techniques.
Ma'am, how you ensure that her boyfriend is not married? If he's married and he has not revealed that, how can you confirm that? Because it's a one case, because that boss was married and they approaches the center, and that lady, without revealing that her boyfriend is married, she conceived with this donor sample.
See, we don't ask for any marriage certificate from the boy or the girl. I'll be sending him to the registered ART bank, and it is their responsibility to screen, to find out all the details, and then let me know whether he can be taken or not.
Yeah.
And we should always have a detailed semen report from the bank also, as far as the screening is concerned, with all the 4 tests and the infection and everything.
Very right, very right. The only savior is record keeping, and the donors always should be routed through the ART bank only.
ART bank,
because
absolutely.
ART bank has the responsibility, and in that case we are saved of any negligence or any this suit, because of we are taking the donor from the ART bank only. And all the donors, this reports, detailed reports should always be archived. So if we are keeping the record of where the sample has been taken and what all details are donor are there, so there's no chances of any mishap or miscommunications.
True.
Thank you very much, Dr.
Geetendra wants to speak. Geetendra wants to speak something.
Yes.
Yes.
Madam, one thing is to be first of all explain to the patient that she will become single mother.
Yes. And she should know the
donor should not get the tag of father. Okay, so that should be clarified first of all.
Absolutely. Yes, very right.
Psychological screening in a way.
And Dr.
Ma'am, I have a question here. I just want to know, okay, fine, we can save ourselves by routing through the ART bank. But medico-legally speaking, is it compulsory to have a consent from the wife or no?
Which wife? Married couple can't, married donor can't.
Suppose this
not
guy is married. Suppose this guy is married, we don't know. Okay? But is it compulsory to have a consent?
There is no role of consent of spouse in any donation now.
Yes, that's what I wanted to say.
From
Because
donor
even in the donor,
and
even in
outside
the sperm donor banks,
consent now.
even in the sperm donor banks, whether the male is married or not, that doesn't matter. You know, even the married person can donate sperms.
Yes.
And Dr. Nisha, you were mentioning about those 4 tests. So I have a query because see, HPLC testing, we are still telling sperm donor banks to do thalassemia screen, which is very important. I don't know whether others are doing it or not, because by Government of India guidelines and this, they say just infection screen. But HPLC is very, very important. So for us, to the sperm donor bank also, we have given our own list of blood tests, which says CBC, blood sugar, HbA1c, all 4 viral markers, and HPLC, and even thyroid. So we have given our own list to them before any sample is sent to us.
Dr. Sunita, here my question is that if that married man is giving the donor sample, and if this patient conceives, and if his wife also comes to know that this baby is my husband's sperms, will not be there is a legal fight for that, for the right of...
Dr. Geetendra ne clear to kiya hai na.
Going by the law, I don't think.
The person who is giving a semen has no right. She's a single mother.
Okay, moving on to the second case of oligospermia. I think Megha is not able to hear, so I'm starting with second case. It is for you, Dr. Sunita Arora. A male with oligospermia comes with a normal report from
Slide is not moving, Dr. Seema.
Case second for Dr. Sunita Arora. A male with oligospermia comes with a normal report from some lab. His wife is a case of bilateral tubal block and the couple wants IVF treatment. So the center starts ovulation induction, and after the injection OVA done, 10 oocyte retrieved, and it came as a surprise and shock to check the report of husband because HSC shows only 2 to 3 motile sperms with very poor motility, and all other sperms are dead. So doctor calls upon the husband. So how you'll inform the report and convince?
Yeah, so this kind of situation does come once in a while with everybody. So ideal situation or ideal scenario should be we should always do one prior testing of semen sample at our center. But this happens, person has done it from a renowned lab. I may miss doing a repeat sample and I'll say that the report is looking absolutely fine. On the day of egg retrieval, if this kind of a report comes, first thing is sit across the table and explain to the husband, because sometimes if the sample is not properly collected, then also it can happen. And we will sometimes find also them admitting, yes, the sample according to them also was not proper and they are ready to give a second sample after maybe 1 or 2 hours. You can again ask them to collect another sample. So sometimes that only will solve the issue. But suppose it's 2-3 sperms and they are also looking all abnormal, and you can't do injustice to the eggs. Patient has undergone all the steps and taken all injections. So my take on this case, because I will not say go for TISA today only, because it is very difficult to counsel the patients that you undergo an invasive procedure on that day, and I have not discussed this with the patient earlier. So, taking another sample is my first take. We always do that. We counsel the husband that this has happened and we will need another sample. If the second sample again is reported as same, if we have 2-3 sperms in first sample and second sample, and morphologically, because we have IMC, so if morphologically if they are looking normal, then we will counsel the couple for ICSI in place of IVF. That's perfectly fine. And I don't think there will be a difficulty counseling, because as far as costing is concerned, you can waive it off for the patient, and in my center IVF ICSI has same cost. So I don't think couple will have a problem in that scenario. But going for an invasive procedure on that day, I don't think I will straightforwardly say that. I would rather like to counsel them and freeze the eggs if I don't have even single normal sperm. Then, you follow all those steps, do the hormonal profile, do repeat testing, maybe some little bit of hormonal disbalances in the husband, and you give them some treatment, and the sperm samples subsequently may show better reports. So in all such cases where I have to freeze eggs, and this decision is taken on the day of egg retrieval, then I counsel the couple to, kind of undergo ICSI just before embryo transfer, like 3-4 days, 4 days or 5 days before embryo transfer. I'll be now thawing the eggs and doing ICSI and transferring the embryos after 4-5 days of progesterone. So this is how I go about in such cases.
You're absolutely right, because this should be properly, you should have a proper backup sample. That is absolutely right. Suppose you have done oocyte freezing also, and again after checking the sample, the husband sample, the report is same. So husband agrees for the donor sample, but he says he wants to use donor sample, but wants non-disclosure to his wife. So what is your take, Dr. Sunita, ma'am?
No, not at all. So, all of us are getting these kind of requests. Please don't reveal it to my wife. Please don't reveal it to my husband. But you have to outrightly take a stand that this cannot happen. So we should take a stand. And surprisingly, we are sometimes getting calls even from our gynec friends. Can this be done, that it is not revealed and we can do it? We can never do it. This cannot be done. We should be very clear. No compromises here. We should never do this. So, but then, we have a way to handle our patients, isn't it? So most of the times when this request is coming from one of the partners, then I always tell them, you bring your husband here. Or if the husband is saying, I say, just bring your wife, I will counsel her. But it will never happen that without taking consents, I'm using donor egg or donor sperm. That is like putting yourself in soup. So it never should be done.
So, Dr. Sunita, here I just wish to tell you that it is a policy at our center. We take the patient for IVF, we definitely test ourselves the semen examination before
Definitely.
freezing. And we always have an extra, the sample is frozen. So this kind of problems is not there at all.
Definitely.
Right, ma'am. So that's a very good policy. Before COVID, we also used to freeze one sample for all the male, counterparts. Now we have left because the practice left in between. But yes, this is a very good practice and should be done. Like a backup sample can always be taken because sometimes on that very day they are not able to produce the samples.
Yes. So
But
it's a reverse case 2 to Dr. Renu ma'am. It's for you. It's a reverse case, a 38-year-old female, poor oocyte quality and 2 reported IVF failures because of the poor oocyte quality at other center. And she wants to use a donor egg but requests not to disclose to husband and family because they will leave her. And out of compassion, the center does the IVF treatment with donor egg and husband semen. After 2 years, she gets divorced and husband get DNA testing and asks the center to reveal the oocyte donor. So what's the legal stand in that case? And what's the legal right of the child?
The child has legal rights over both the father and the mother, because ideally the center should not have run donor egg without the consent of husband. That is very, very clear. You cannot use either donor sperms without the wife's consent, or you cannot use donor eggs without the husband's consent, because you are using that person's gamete also to fertilize. So you have to have consent of the other party when you are using a third party in the whole process. So when she gets divorced and husband finds that the DNA testing, he wants to know the oocyte donor. Well, he wants to know the oocyte donor, that is a separate matter. But if you ask me what is the child's right, then the child has legal rights for both this mother and father. Because mother anyway signed sort of when she took oocyte donor, although she did it absolutely wrong, but she is the legal mother. Like if you would do an oocyte donor, you are the legal mother. The person who donates is not legal mother. That is how the contract is made. And the husband cannot deny, because husband is anyway the biological father. So I think the child will have sort of legal claim over both the mother and the father as far as the child is concerned. That is what I understand.
Yes, ma'am. So just to avoid this.
But I think, this practice, you going with the thing, you're not telling the husband and things like that is a bad practice, and we should stop it straight away.
That is absolutely cannot be done, without the signature. So many times people say, can you take donors, like Sunita also said, you just cannot do that. That is out of question. How can you use somebody else's semen or eggs?
Don't get emotionally blackmailed by the underline this thing.
So the final conclusion of these 2 cases is you always test semen analysis, GFI, infection screening at your own center before enrollment. You can do it free of cost because if financial constraints are there. Consent from the patient for the sample identity is a mandate, because sometimes what happens, the patient, husband, he can replace the sample of his friend sample. So you have to take in writing that this sample belongs to him only. And third is freezing of semen sample for backup of the case is always recommended. And gamete identity disclosure is the right of the couple.
I just want to add one thing more, madam, at this point. Wherever you have a doubt, you take the drop of a semen sample in front of the male only and put it on a blotting paper and let it dry, and then store and get his signature that this sample which has been on the blotting paper is mine, so which can be tested genetically for the future. So if he's not signing, he will run away from there. You know that this is your friend's sample, not his own sample.
But that is why we do not accept samples from outside. They have to be given in the center itself.
In the center also, because
Yes, it can be done, but
and if it is coming from outside, then he has to have a written affidavit that this is my sample. Then the onus is on him. whether he brings his sample or his process, the onus is on him. He is giving a written affidavit that this is my sample.
But ma'am,
Extra documents for anyone who is bringing from outside.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yes.
It's the affidavit. Absolutely.
Yes.
Doctor, I think, what we do is, in majority of the time, they have to give it in the clinic, but sometimes they cannot. Then we write down big letters that this sample has not been collected here. It has come from the house. So we don't take a responsibility that it is his sample. But I like it that we make an affidavit.
Ma'am, that is not enough. You have to have a written affidavit.
ma'am, can I say something?
Binding.
Ma'am, can I say something?
He can bring the semen sample of his friend in a pocket and put it in your body.
Yes.
So I think
Ma'am, then this statement that I have brought my sample only becomes more troublesome for us. Because if he is cheating and he is using other sample and we are taking in writing, signing that he has given his sample, then we are more at fault.
Exactly.
so the blotting paper would solve the problem.
नहीं डॉक्टर साहब, अगर किसी ने आपने अपने आप एडमिट किया हुआ है तो वी आर नॉट लीगली एट फॉल्ट.
No, that's his ownership, Nisha. That will be his ownership because he has signed.
We are not at fault. Legally, we are not at fault.
Ma'am, he has to sign to that effect, but better to have an affidavit.
Ma'am,
Yes,
what sir is saying is right.
legal paper.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am, what sir is saying is right.
Comment on this.
Affidavit कहाँ से लाएगा डॉक्टर साहब बिना उसके? He can only give a statement.
But sir, where to keep that blotting paper?
Yes.
Where to freeze
File of the patient.
it can come after 2 years.
In the file of the patient.
In the file, it will remain as it is even after 2
All
years.
evidences have to be kept in the
It's
file.
DNA
If you want
is
to
there. The
Oh,
DNA is there. Then you can
We can always try this practice. I've never done it.
डॉक्टर साहब, ये सेक्सुअली असॉल्टेड होते हैं, उनके लिए डीएनए की एक अलग फाइल सी होती है. बट ये ब्लॉटिंग पेपर वाली बात चलेगी नहीं, ये मुझे मालूम नहीं डॉक्टर साहब.
Then this can be yes, ma'am. And he signs on the blotting paper. This is my semen sample on the blotting paper.
and then we can match.
नहीं, बट वो ब्लॉटिंग पेपर साइंटिफिकली कितनी वैलिडिटी रखता है हमें नहीं पता. मैम, एफिडेविट नोटरी से बन जाता है, उसमें कोई टाइम नहीं लगता.
हाँ, legally तो
पता हो, अगर वो कह रहा है कि मैं सैंपल नहीं दे सकता और मैं लेके आऊंगा तो बनवा के लाए वो एफिडेविट.
Ma'am, can I say something? Ma'am, the thing is that the person came, he is hiding a sample in his pocket. Now he is given the sample, that sample, but he is writing saying that it is my sample. Okay? You have got the affidavit that this is my sample. He gave somebody else's sample, but he has signed that it is his sample.
That's okay, Nisha,
Now
but the
he is
ownership
gonna
is
sue
his.
you that I to gave my sample and you have changed the sample.
Yes. He can say.
This is the problem.
He can say ki the center has changed.
They would know, okay, we'll have a child also, and we'll take the money for child education also from the clinic later on.
Yes. That's the problem.
So then what is the solution?
क्या करना क्या है सर?
Sir is giving solution. Sir is giving the solution.
No, but do you do this, Nisha? Do you in your clinic this blotting thing?
Yeah.
No,
See, wherever there's doubt, we do it. And if the patient refuses to sign on that, then we say sorry.
नहीं सर, ये तो तरीके से उससे उगलवाने की बात हो गई ना.
Yeah, this is another way. Yeah, because at least you are saved.
ये तो उसको एक स्टाइल से उसको टेरराइज करके
But
उससे
it's a nice practical way before thing, because afterwards तो हम कुछ नहीं कर सकते. At least it's a nice way, sir. It's a, I think, very practical tip which.
Yes.
बट उसको कोर्ट ऑफ लॉ में उसकी कोई वैलिडिटी नहीं.
No. The DNA can be detected from there, madam.
Yes.
They are taking the DNA of the dinosaurs. So it
बट
is
सर,
to match the
कैसे
DNA.
रखना है फिर उसको प्रिजर्व कैसे करना है?
You don't have to preserve it. You have to just dry it and keep it in a polythene.
Yes.
So that it doesn't get destroyed, and attach it with the file.
Fine.
Because this sort of a case हुआ था सर, उसमें उसके husband ने क्या किया, wife को नहीं बताया, and he taken his friend's semen and did IUI and she conceived, and then later on she blamed the wife that ये इसका extramarital affair है, it is not my baby, and it proved also the court of law. So that was a case. So we'll move.
तो the dictum is कि बाहर से तो बिल्कुल मंगवाना ही नहीं है.
और हम साइन कराते हैं बस, पर वो साइन
का भी कोई सिग्निफिकेंस नहीं है.
So case of death of the spouse, this is a third case. Dr.
I think
Megha,
bloating paper wala jo sir tip de rahe hain, this sounds
this is very
good, because I'm also hearing this for the first time. But what Nisha has mentioned, this has come in my mind also several times. कि हम sign तो करा रहे हैं, then the person is going to say later कि आपने change कर दिया, मैंने बता दिया था.
This is all the more
But
weird.
if you have the DNA sample saved, then and his signatures on the bloating paper, this is something which is food for thought actually.
absolutely good. Really, we should all adopt this thing. Really. Dr.
So
Megha,
now we will go into the next case. A 38-year-old married lady, and she was living in another city. She comes for IVF treatment at the center. Her procedure started. All the consents were done by both, but had to travel for some work purpose. And induction was done. Husband was supposed to come on the day of the pickup. He was not getting leave. The day arrived and the oocytes were retrieved, but husband met with an accident and died. So there are two cases. Like if husband dies before the oocyte pickup. So what are the scenarios in this case? Like if husband we have frozen the semen, then officially we can use that semen to make the embryos. But if we have not frozen the semen, then posthumously, can she take the semen? The wife has the semen, take the embryos? Shweta ma'am?
Dr.
So
Sweta.
in this case, because we have taken the consent, but that consent is only when he is alive. Now the situation is that he has died. So
Yes.
unless we have taken the posthumous consent, we cannot use it. So what we can do is take out the eggs and freeze the eggs, because now the scenario has changed. So we have to have a posthumous consent, then only proper consent, then only we can take it out after death, or even use the backup freezing.
Absolutely. That is right.
Right. Right. Yes.
But
I have a different viewpoint. In case if the person you have kept the sample which has been frozen
Yes.
prior to the IVF, I think that particular sample can be used.
Ma'am,
But if you, no?
it cannot be used.
No, that can be used with the consent of the family.
No.
consent is there.
No.
You have to have consent before. You cannot use it.
So
But if the
what we have
family-
to do now, invariably people like us definitely freeze the
And there
semen
is a
sample.
column.
We
And
must
there is a
put a column, extra column there,
Ma'am, it is there.
So
already.
if there was a consent, the sperm freezing, that after my death you can give it to the partner, then only it is valid.
Only then you can use it.
Yeah.
But
मैम जो ये एक्स्ट्रा स्पर्म सैंपल फ्रीजिंग वाला है ना, इसमें since when this form 10 has come, so whenever we are freezing a sample just as a backup also, we are keeping form 10 signed every time,
Yes.
because that says that in case something happens, it is to be handed over to my spouse, or that consent.
Yeah.
So this is very important, which many people are not doing. So as a protocol, we implemented this across all the centers of Bloom, because again, if the sample is frozen, abhi egg pickup nahi hua, but ek backup sample freeze hua, and then something happens to the husband, then definitely the family is going to come back and claim at that sample. So form 10 should be filled even for backup sample freezing.
And this sample has to be discarded after the procedure has been done.
Yes,
Can I
this
ask
is also
something?
very important.
Can I ask something? Suppose now the husband has died. So she's a widow now. So why she's a single woman, she's a widow. So why can't she take a donor semen sample and you can fertilize the...
Ma'am, these are emotional factors. Na?
So I think, ma'am, that day...
But technically you can do it.
But I personally feel that if such a scenario is arising, we should take help of a fertility lawyer and should go through court of law even when there is a backup sample.
And there is no
husband has died.
urgency.
Yeah, there is no urgency.
So you
There
should
is no
freeze
urgency.
it, give some time, and
Yeah.
then maybe later on with the frozen egg,
Yes.
whatever way she wants. But that day she's in such a state, the whole family. I don't think you
I
can...
agree completely. But we are not saying that he has died just on that day only. He might have died 10 days before. It's a general thing statement that if he has died, technically she can use donor sperm, can't she?
Yeah. As a single.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Continuously, I'm sorry, I'm continuously.
But like after we have done the embryo freezing, we have made the embryos, the consents are there, we have frozen the embryos, and then there is a death of the husband. So Sunita ma'am,
So-
then we can transfer those embryos if the patient wants. Yes.
Yes, yes.
If there is a consent signed.
No, there has to be consent before signed
Before.
that. Yeah,
If it is not death, if it is a divorce
Cannot.
only.
you cannot do it.
Divorce में तो बिल्कुल नहीं use कर सकते.
Okay. That is good.
And
It is
the
a
is
final.
going on that we froze the embryos, and after the just freezing of the embryos, the couple had a dispute. But the issue was who will pay for the freezing of the embryos. Both the parties were saying that I am not paying, ask the other party, because we had the embryos frozen. And in such cases, we cannot discard the embryos because it's a legal case till the time the case has been sorted out.
फिर तुमने क्या किया?
अभी तक रखे हुए मैम.
We have kept the embryos, we have counseled both the parties that it's your responsibility. The female party saying to ask the male party, and the male party saying you ask the female party that who will pay for the frozen embryos. We counseled and the female party paid ultimately. That yes, I have to freeze the embryos for my. She wanted the transfer, but we didn't transfer because obviously husband consent is needed for the transfer.
That
He
is
was saying that previously he has signed that why can't you transfer now? But since we came to know that this is going on, husband party came to us and denied that we don't want the transfer. If not transferred, the female party has paid for the embryo freezing.
I think we should
Life
move on
is
to case
complicated.
5 because it's the last case. And a 29-year-old female cancer patient froze her eggs at IVF center before chemotherapy. 5 years later, when she's ready to start a family, she was informed that her frozen eggs has been accidentally destroyed due to power failure at storage facility. Patient sued the center for negligence, seeking loss of her only chance at biological motherhood and emotional distress caused by the hospital's failure to ensure the storage condition. So what can be the legal complication and how can an IVF center prepare for it? I think preparation we all have read, understood with Dr. Jyoti's talk, but about the legal complication, I think Dr. Jyoti Bali is there. If she's there, to I think please take this question.
I didn't see Dr. Jyoti.
Okay, Dr. Nisha, please take on. It is your case only. Dr. Nisha, are you
Yeah.
there? Yeah, please.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, I am there. So I think natural calamities and all, we should add a clause while taking the consent that we are not responsible. And I think insurance can pay for that. Regarding the emotional part, nobody can, if a earthquake comes, nobody can do anything about it.
But this is not natural calamity. This is power failure.
Yeah.
Power
But
failure
how can-
also, you can keep the backups and everything ready. But,
One
sometimes
can
even
never be 100% sure. Yes.
Yes, even the gas leaks, the nitrogen leaks, liquid nitrogen leaks, and there was a case where there was a loss of lot of embryos. So we have to keep a clause in the consent that in case it is not, there is nothing 100% sure. We are trying our best, and in case of some natural disaster or a power failure, there is a clause of about power failure also in the consent which we have made. I think that's the only thing we can do, and the insurance can pay for that rest all.
Yeah, but I think we have to be overcautious in this case. Dr. Jyoti Malik's doc was there, na? We should divide the sample in 2 parts. We should keep it in a separate container, and we should have 2 UPS system, 1 generator, and every backup should be there, and cooling system. So I think we should try to avoid that. Yes, but 100% we can't assure in fact. So coming to the end, I think takeaways are IVF is all about careful and conscious patient counseling, compassion, patient consent, lab instrument and maintenance checklist. I think we should divide daily checklist, monthly checklist, and yearly checklist. And annual maintenance is very much required of the lab. Frozen embryo preservation, definitely we should do it carefully. And gamete identification, information disclosure is the right of the patient. So thank you very much, everyone, for the patient listening. And thank you all the panelists. And thank you all the experts.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Seema, Dr. Megha. Thank you.
Ma'am. Thank you, everyone.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Thanks, Dr. Seema, Dr. Megha. Thank
We
you.
have just taken all the clinically important things rather than discussing on mishandling or mixing of gametes. That's what we don't want, because that is all in the hand of the human. Okay. So thank you very much. I think IVF is all about consent, compassion, care, and whatnot. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Many C's.
Many C's. Yes.
So I thank all the special thanks to Dr. Jyoti Malik for her excellent elaborative talk on the medical legal issues in ART. Thank all the experts for their valuable inputs and giving a crystal clear answer to the various gray zone of the Act. I thank special thanks to Dr. Seema Sehgal and our moderator, along with all the panelists for such an interactive and interesting case scenarios with the clear-cut message, so that I think everyone has a crystal clear message and they can practice it. And I thank everyone once again.